We operate both as individuals, making individual assessments, but we also enter into deep bonds with other people, emotionally, that transcend individual intellectual desires. It sees the world from the battlefield of art versus commerce. The commercial can be a commercial cinema or a commercial film, and this is often described in the language inside the British Film Institute as a multiplex film. Because we need great art and we need great creativity. And we need this valued and admired and appreciated by the people in our spheres to enrich our society, and we need that to challenge our perceptions of the world. European goals. The goal of the audience development activities is to help European artists and cultural professionals and their works reach as many people as possible across Europe and extend access to cultural works to underrepresented groups. Now, you would think there's nothing wrong with that, and it's sort of okay, isn't it? Well, this is a passivity of intent, that the audience is there to be reached and to have access. I think, or I want to be stimulated, I want to be excited, I want to experience something wonderful, moving and exhilarating. And this, sadly, is a top-down approach to the audience. And when we talk to the audience and how we bring them into our creative thinking. So I'm calling this the audience in the mind. Here I'm trying to articulate a different approach to the audience, one that is much more dynamic and integrated in thinking. This person is in my mind and it's in our minds, and I'll make this person a real, emotional, feeling, thinking, consuming person. I might even find real ones and talk to them more. I'm saying that audience development needs to be put at the real centre of organisations and individuals, and that the audience in the mind concept is an attempt to create a mindset that brings the consumer to life in the process. I don't think audiences want reach and access. Because here I believe that a cultural elite are making policies that are increasingly not connected to the real world of people and not linked to what people are really looking for. And again, you could put that as a statement in terms of audience development and cultural connection and how important culture is to people and how much it can move people and how much it can really engage with people. So my argument is, understand as Beyond did that we are hopelessly addicted to groups and to being an individual. Build an audience in our mind to focus on. Build out from an audience in the mind into our audience groups to create impact. But most importantly, frame any objective or artifact in what the audience would really, really want to engage with. Try to create an audience development policy that uses words like excitement, emotional joy, or challenging experiences.
All of us here behind this round table are faced with different challenges as a consequence of changing social and economical circumstances. Today, where culture is very well embedded in every pore of our lives, and it has its significant influence on our lives. On one hand, we can see these influences that can be actually kind of measured on the economy, on the social inclusion. But in essence, there is this intrinsic value.
Our Kino Balloon program is considered to be a wonderful example of audience development program. But I don't see it as an audience development program. I see it as a film educational program for children. We would like to do a quality program that children would enjoy, that their adults would find meaningful, being teachers or families. I think both sectors are very important. Making them excited is very important to make as many children as possible enjoying art. I think we have to have a creative team that enjoys art as well. You need public funding. I truly believe in it.
There was a group of people passionate about contemporary music and 20th century music, and we wanted to share that passion. Doing it, we started organizing concerts. And as we were really a small organization, we didn't have anything. We didn't have a big name with us on board. We didn't have a space. We didn't have anything. But actually we turned all these disadvantages into our advantage. So as you mentioned, that we organize our performances at unusual spaces, This was because we didn't have our own space, and therefore we were searching for interesting spaces where the owners would be open to what we did, and therefore we became in a way cool, and we started attracting people also because of the unusual spaces. What we ultimately do, and we all do, I think, in this room, we actually deliver experiences, because this is why people are coming to our events. We put together a program so that it is a holistic experience. We don't know the names on program, we just trust you. As to engaging audiences, of course, this is one of the important things to make them closer to contemporary music. Therefore, we work with volunteers. We actually found out that having professional ushers is fine, but having volunteer ushers is even better. We started organizing a listening contest for audiences so that they are more motivated to listen to contemporary music, because we think that making the listening process more fun through the voting process and through the contest could be better than just tell them, okay, listen to contemporary music because it's good for you, as a lab for young composers.
Listening all the time that number of the audiences for contemporary dance is decreasing, we were thinking how to create an access for the new audience. So we were trying to turn disadvantage to the advantage. It is very important to not only to present high quality dance production to the audience that has usually no access to it, but you have to be very well of the context. If you mention to somebody contemporary dance, they all go, "Whoa, what's this? This is something for people that are very well educated, live in big centers, and I don't understand this, and this is something very weird," and so on. Very challenging productions with, lots of blood, cavity search, and so on, that we were really afraid to present, got better responses from the audiences, that some of the programming that we were calculating that would maybe better fit our audiences. The feeling that audiences need, that they are encountering something extraordinary. But we also have to be honest to them that there's no easy way to succeed, and that that actually you can never succeed, that you have to work and work and work. Designed to be kind of audience development, but not with the audience development in our mind, but with this project because it's the DNA of it.
Now before 2 years, I start to work in Rijeka, in Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art. And it was a little bit strange situation, because this space lost audience and energy and importance in local community and in national and regional art community. We start to change things through the partnerships or collaborations. We work with public money, and it's really important how you work with this public money.
First, our goal was to include local cultural institutions. Results of our effort to pressure on the local decision makers. We are collaborating with the local, let's say, although they are not underground, but they are considered to be underground youth club MIC, and we attracted quite a lot of people from the hip-hop, hardcore music, underground scene to our festival, because they were our co-producers, and we involved many musicians into our efforts by helping us. This is one thing. Then we attracted also third age populations. You're addressing real people with names, faces, and so on. If you let yourself to speak to them and to let know their personal stories, and also let them speak to you, to tell you the stories. This helps a lot to reach them. It's not enough to try to make a high quality cultural event, but as I said, you need to listen to the local context, to the local stories, and to involve them.
Striving to attract people and to promote certain music and so on is one of the key points for your fundraising also.
Yes, of course. We succeeded in attracting large audiences, and I'm very proud that they are so varied. We have very old people in the audience, but also young children in the audience, in the same audience. I think that curiosity is the main component.
Event-based cinema is very crucial, not to think of the audience as audience of different generations, starting with parents with small babies and then parents with toddlers. They need babysitting to go to the cinema, and then a children's program, and then a program for youth and students, and discounts for them on special days, and then the active population. All of you are our audience, I know. Trying to figure out different interests, and for that we have to have a creative team, but we also have to have an excellent database. Some of the programs are very much focused on the quality content. Some of the programs are more focused on attracting as many audiences as possible, or to think of the quantity. Audience development is not just about new audience and more audience. By supporting these kind of projects, they really show that they understand that the quality also matters, the quality of our work, and actually getting funding for something that has no bigger outcome, like a website, like a festival, but just giving us experts in film literacy opportunity to meet and reflect our work definitely brings something to audience development in a quality sense in a long term.
Many artists who are really professionals, and they produce some informal way really good work, but they forget the next step, and they working with people like in zoo. They ask people in the factory for collaboration. They shoot movie and they leave. To discuss this, we invite artists, we invite local community, we invite people, not audience. We start to work in the street. This is a project and project for public space with some really interesting topics who are related with local problems and local society.
Everything what we do is a failure at the beginning. It's because we are really trying to change the way the things are done, and then in many times it happens that you're not very well prepared, but you learn quickly, and we learn also from our partners. So it's impossible to reach them all. You have to focus on smaller groups.
The luxury to be able to actually have a failure is a very important part of the creative process. If you are afraid that you fail, you won't dare to do something very interesting.
Part of being creative is also means that you have to experiment and innovate, and then you take a risk for failures, of course. a lot of our failures are the positive ones that bring new solutions.
We communicate with our audiences on a constant basis. And we also ask people, we ask them to tell us what they think. This is our goal, so that the people feel safe, they feel welcome.
He was first time in museum in her life, and she said to me, "Thank you, because it looks I miss something in my life, and it was this everyday communication and work."
To know the public, to make segmentation of the public, to know what kind of voice from the community to listen to. All the time we apply questionnaires, we apply analyses. And for instance, if the public decided that in 2008 they need public transport for free to go to the museum till 4 o'clock in the morning, we hopefully create a strategic partnership with the municipality, and now they have a public transport for free. If they decided that they want to go to the museum and to have all the program and events to be checked out on the internet, on the phone application, whatever platform you need, Android or iPhone, now they could check all the events proposed by the Night of the Museum in the entire country and to go to. In 4 years since we organized Night at the Museum in Romania on this idea of having strategic circuits, we doubled the number of the persons. The former program, Culture 2007, tried to invite every cultural operator to think the project as an investment. Now, the Creative Europe new program decided to invite a cultural operator to think the project according or in direct relation are the main priority to public audience development. But these things means the same thing practically. Sustainable project to a project who invests in audience, which means also sustainable projects.
And we call it user-centered design. Whenever we start the project, we never speak about goals. You always speak about goals, my goal is I want to succeed this, I want to achieve this, but I really believe in the early beginnings you only have an interest and your goal isn't clear and should be defined through the path. So what we do, we say, okay, our interest is this and this and this, and we try to identify the people who have the same interests as we do in the project. After the design process starts and we deal with it, we always invite them into the process again and again. So our intention is to try to promote and find new ways, new models of monetization, of distribution.
Film industry, which is also facing huge changes in the last 2 decades, as did the music industry also. We have generations that have never actually paid a single cent for an audio recording. Film field, we are of course seeing that decline of people going to the cinemas.
Piracy, in my opinion, it's not the problem on the user part of it, but on the other side where the money is. Piracy is definitely a VOD, so when you hear about the movie, you can buy it or watch it or rent it.
Video on demand.
Video on demand, yeah, like Netflix, like, I don't know, iTunes. That's one of the main, I think, answers to the piracy. Social media is very important in finding the audience because it's crowdsourcing, when you have some ideas or when you have a focus group or target group to see, you can ask them what they think about it. So it's always, it needs to be a dialogue.
This is also what we have learned with making all these crowdfunding campaigns, where you actually have to build trust with your audience. So they finance your project, give you money to start a project, but they have to believe you that you have competences and know-how and of course resources that you will actually do what you promise to do if you get funds. But so trust is here the main thing, but trust can be built in this kind of crowdfunding campaigns only by, of course, this personal approach, by exposing yourself, talking about your competences of other people in the team and so on. But what about institutions? How are institutions building trust with audience?
This moment museum have to go back to school. All the bumps of the technology of the information are fully sophisticated, more sophisticated than we realized. To have the courage to let the community express herself in the museum, in sense of that kind of notion which is ablative museum. It means let's work together with, not for community. Let's have co-creation in the museum. Let's work exhibition together with the museum, with the public. Because these things told something about their needs, about their way of thinking to the museum, to understand the learning styles, you know. So we've decided to create exhibition according the dominant learning style in that specific community. Important to coexist in all the levels of in the existence and development of the organization.